So the island of Dr. Moreau was universally panned. Everyone involved was unhappy. And it's rarely, if ever, talked about almost 30 years later. I mean, the behind-the-scenes stories are those of legends. Director Richard Stanley losing his grip and being fired early on to filming, being replaced by John Frankenheimer. Lead star Rob Morrow basically walked off set. Kilmer being such a horrid person that his scenes and character were changed while being prematurely killed off. And of course, Marlon Brando, who happened to be in the darkest point of his life and seemed to troll the higher-ups, and his experience on set was, something else. It's a wild story, and if interested, there's a must-watch documentary, Lost Soul, the doomed journey of Richard Stanley's Island of Dr. Moreau. But what if I told you, crazy behind-the-scenes drama aside, that movie isn't half bad? Like a weird, trippy interpretation to the madness of splicing beast and man. So today in The Black Sheep, I'll explore the good, the bad, and how in the end, the weirdness of the island of Dr. Moreau may actually work in its favor. Released in August of '96, The Island of Dr. Moreau follows Edward Douglas, a man stranded in the sea after a plane crash, rescued by the eccentric Montgomery, who brings him to a secluded island where an even weirder man by the name of Dr. Moreau is deep into genetic splicing between man and animal. And yes, expect spoilers going forward. I'm here mostly to defend this thing, but I think I should clarify. Island of Dr. Moreau's thematics barely work on a surface level. They don't even try to dig deep enough when exploring the dangers of playing God and the ethics of scientific experimentation. But here's the thing. Based on the perfect shitstorm that occurred behind the scenes, what we actually got was a strange amalgamation of 20 ideas, all manifesting themselves into an uncanny experience that is 100% entertaining. And I truly believe the backlash on Island of Dr. Moreau is carried over through learned pop culture bashing. I'd put this in a very similar camp alongside, let's say Congo. You know, tonally odd, ambitious yet foolish, and a fantastic ride throughout. Let's start with Brando as Moreau, who's nothing short of spectacular. Decked out in white sunscreen, adorning a fruit basket for a hat. And of course the ice bucket. You know, just one day he decided his character hated the heat, and the ice bucket helmet was born. He interprets Moreau, and if you didn't know, he would constantly change things up just to f with the director. But he interprets Moreau as this old silly hippie who is a scientific genius, but like if he was also your gay uncle that would smoke a joint with you on Christmas Eve. The cult leader aesthetic works. He's clearly kind and giving, but he firmly believes the process to achieving perfection no matter what, and feels this relieves him of any moral burden. I mean, most of these creatures' lives must be hell. Monroe's 60s feeling outlook, one lacking any malevolence, makes for an engaging and kooky character who's also responsible for such tragedy. And 90% of the time he has a mini deformed creature by his side, mimicking his every move. And in this specific instance, this is 100% Marlon Brando's idea. It is oddly brilliant.
You think I'm fucking with you? I am not fucking with you.
Before we continue with our video, here's a reminder to click the Store tab on any of our Joe Blow channels and browse our collection of the latest and freshest designs in our merch store. Go get you some.
Right here, where Douglas loses it at the fact that there are actually man-beasts. And Monroe assumes his bewilderment is because of his sunscreen-drenched appearance. It's fantastic deadpan and flawlessly timed. Basically winking at us, yet still grounds everything with an absolute seriousness. Bizarre dueling tones, Brando's ever-changing accent, it just makes Moreau iconic. Love it or hate it, Brando's take is unforgettable. And that's what makes this iteration so pleasing, is everyone's wacky interpretation. Of course, it is formed from script changes and in the edit, but nonetheless strange. So Douglas is our surrogate, experiencing everything alongside us. You expect a man, not of science, but of politics to fear what Moreau created. How do you think the lead would act? Would it be a man that's a natural coward, one that must look inside and eventually man up when the time comes? Or maybe slightly more sinister, a man willing to play the game, but willing to screw over any and everyone to get the upper hand and escape? David Thewlis takes Douglas as a man in a constant state of confusion that fluctuates between nihilistic and humorous. You just about catch him laughing at the situation of taking these beasts seriously. Like life momentarily broke him.
This is the most outrageous spectacle.
It would be absurd to experience. And of course, Val Kilmer closes out the trifecta, giving us Montgomery, the drug addict medical assistant who is just vibing the entire time. I know he was a douche on set, and this just may be a on-screen manifestation of his inflated ego. But goddamn if he doesn't completely own it. I forgot how hilarious and nonchalant Montgomery was on this last rewatch, sabotaging the communications with style.
Not without this, you don't.
And not feeling Douglas's incessant need to leave. Him mimicking Moreau, high as a kite, handing his stash out to the mutant beasts. To one of my favorite reactions. It's a serious story told in an unintentional, absurdist way. And real quick, I will say, I wish Fairuza Balk had more to do. She's always a cool actress in everything she's in, but I know here she just doesn't get enough. I understand it's probably has a lot to do with the, hackneyed, cut-up version we see. But the thing, I wish people kind of discussed more is that the hybrids are played absolutely straight. And it's what holds us together, the balance between the wacky and the sane. For limited screen time, characters like Sayer the Law add a reasonable argument for Moreau's hit or miss success. Also, he's played by Ron Perlman. And if you didn't know that, you could never unsee it now. Mark Dacascos says, "Lo my, makeup here looks fantastic, and as the first introduced wild beast, he leaves an impression." Azazello, great Kiwi actor, Temuera Morrison, and Marco Hofschneider's kind and hopeful Maling. Stan Winston Studios does a great job considering the constantly changing script and the core hybrid mutants still hold up, in a way unique practical effects do. And the late stage villain? The mutants are perfectly within their right to revolt, but I do really enjoy Moreau, Douglas, and Montgomery. So, I'm going to say villainish. Highness Wine, late great Aussie Daniel Rigney, has a strong presence and personality to lead a coup. As goofy as things get, there is a tangible sense of danger. And director John Frankenheimer, who's an old school workman, shot this well. It has a good sense of scope, beautiful landscapes, and energetic blocking. The flaws are the script and tone, but this is a solid cut that came from a total disaster. It flows, hits the plot beats, and has fun along the way. The Island of Dr. Moreau is a flick that wears its strangeness on its sleeve. From the start, Marlon Brando just gives zero f***s and channels his inner Andy Kaufman for his eccentric performance. Kilmer's erratic attitude to the creature designs, and the infamous hell of a production. Island of Dr. Moreau is a testament to the unpredictability of filmmaking. Its bizarreness, both intentional and accidental, produced an entertaining 90s sci-fi epic that, for all of its failures, was a moment in time. From a dead era of movie making and the Frankenstein creations that sometimes came from it.
Yep, thank you. Thank you. That's embarrassing. Give me a second. Yeah, I'm Tyler Nichols, and I'm going to redo the entire thing that I just did because apparently I was muted during that. So, of course, if you guys have been to this stream before, you guys know that we like to sit and talk movies. The subject today is going to be Friday the 13th, the entire franchise, but we're going to be going over some other stuff. We're also going to be doing an awesome giveaway, which, I mean, I'm sure that everyone here wants those Paramount Year films on Blu-ray if you do not own them yet, because they are just awesome. And I should also say, too, we had a winner 2 weeks ago because we did this Strangers live stream. And we had our first ever winner, which was David Garina. He was nice enough to send over a photo. Hopefully he show up in the chat sometime so we can give him some love. And Canadians included. As far as I am aware, this should be US and Canada. Unless I am told otherwise, I believe US and Canada. So, let's get that off. Let's see. In terms of how we're gonna do this, end of the stream, we will go over we'll do the giveaway. I'll have a little question, so hopefully you guys are well versed in Friday the 13th, and you guys can see that it is actually the Blu-ray, the Steelbook version of the Friday the 13th collection. It's very, very cool. I think you guys should enjoy it. But yeah, we're going to also be touching on. We're going to be touching on essentially the film that inspired this little talk, because we obviously had there's a movie that came out today called In a Violent Nature, and it's essentially a Friday the 13th ripoff in a way. Like, it's hard to say a ripoff. It's more of like a classy Friday. But yeah, we will touch on that very briefly, mostly just because I doubt many people have seen it. But when we were at the end of last show, I asked you guys a question. What horror franchise would you like to see return from the dead? And so I always like to start with this, so let's just go into it. The ones that I have, hopefully you guys can come up with some picks of your own. Hopefully mine will maybe inspire you. Leprechaun. Yes, I think the Leprechaun series should be back. Like, I think they should be doing something with it. It's fun. They keep trying to make him serious, and it's like, no, that's not what the Leprechaun is. We had an absolutely terrible experience with the most recent films. So just let's stop that, get that put behind, and let's start a new one. Doesn't have to have Warwick Davis, just have a fun person on it. And then obviously Nightmare on Elm Street. How on earth have we not gotten a Nightmare on Elm Street? It's insane that it's taken so long. There's been rumors, there's been so many people that have met with the Craven estate, including Elijah Wood, and yet it's like, wait, why aren't we getting this? John Fallon saying Leprechaun sucks ass. Bumbre saying, if they do if they redo Leprechaun, he'll be CGI and suck. I agree. Leprechaun in the Hood is so bad, but I love it still. Agreed. And if you do love it, make sure that you check out our video that was on. It aired earlier this week. Keir Gomes did an awesome deconstructing Leprechaun in the Hood. It is one of the best videos we have on the channel. It is so good. Definitely check that out. You guys would absolutely love it. Yeah, and then let's see what other pick I'm gonna say. Of course, Sleepaway Camp. This is one that I mostly just kind of want to see what this would be in in an updated version. And also, I'm going to tell you guys right now, I'm going to have a very hard time keeping up with you in chat because you guys are going ham right now. So apologies, I'm going to try, but we shall see. Nightmare on Elm Street needs to be done right. I'm going to put that back. They need to decide on whether they want Child Killer Freddy or Pedo Freddy will influence marketing. I agree. I definitely agree. Then let's go back to Sleepaway Camp, because again, I want to see what this movie would be in 2024. People would be so offended, and that's what I want. I went to a Sleepaway Camp 2 screening that was hosted by like these people talking the whole time, and it was very fun. And it's like this is we need this kind of trash back. It's lovely. And then come on. You had to know, obviously. Friday the 13th is one where it's like, what's happening with this? Sean Cunningham, we talked a little bit 2 weeks ago when the Jason universe was announced. Sean Cunningham said that he wants that we're still at least 3 years out from a Friday the 13th because budget. Studios are balking at the budget he's proposing, which I'm sorry, but does anyone in chat think that Friday the 13th needs a large budget? It's never been a thing that has ever really, I don't know, mattered to me. Let's see. So many questions. Yes, of course. Friday the 13th. Come on. How have we not gotten it? And then let's see, because I want to go through all of your guys' picks. So what are your picks? Try to go through this. I want to see Tales from the Crypt come back. So are we talking TV show, or are we talking a like actual movie? Because then maybe. Yes, this is the point that I love that someone else brought this up. Cunningham Fridays have generally sucked except the first one. Yes, most bad ideas for the Friday the 13th series come from Cunningham. And why is there so many nopes in the chat? And it's like, oh, because everyone's like, no, it does not need that kind of a budget. No, Hallowfield, I agree. Cartoon Man, agreed. Like, it's out of control that they think it needs that much. But we'll see. They're trying to put Chris Hemsworth in the next Friday movie. That's a joke, though. Yeah, they seems like Chris Hemsworth, Chris Pratt, they pretty much seem to get cast in everything. So hopefully we can avoid that. But yeah, let's see what other things you guys are wanting. Freddy versus Jason versus Ash. Yes. I've seen this brought up a couple times. Maniac Cop. Maniac Cop would be amazing. Bring Bruce Campbell back. If anyone hasn't seen Maniac Cop 2 and 3, please, because they are amazing. Phantasm, we need a great tall man. Yes, we absolutely do. The only person I've even thought that would be a good tall man is Doug Jones. It's like, it's still just so difficult. A Killer in the Woods, solid, overt gore, smutty nudity, affable victims. You don't need 30 million to pull that off. I could not agree more, John. It is absurd that it's taking so long. I just want to see Tom Atkins as Jason's father. I would like to see them bring back the father angle that never got fully explored because it's so ridiculous. If the budget goes back to hiring Bernie Lomax, then I'll wait 3 years. Yes, Bernie Lomax. Couldn't agree more. Let's see what other horror things you think should be coming back. Other horror franchises. Bring back Hostel. yeah, we recently covered the Hostel series on Joe Blow Horror Originals, and you guys seem to really enjoy those. And I didn't realize how much that series is beloved, so that's interesting. This isn't exactly a horror franchise, but Society, I think, yeah, Remake of Society would be so good. And then Night of the Creeps is something there's been like talks of a remake of that for a really long time, but it just hasn't happened for some reason. Critters, yes. I don't know how I didn't think of Critters. Well, probably because we got those two terrible recent ones that like one's like a TV show and one that then they turned into a movie, and then yeah, that's just a mess. No one wanted that. All right. We have so much Friday the 13th to go over, so we need to start moving through things. So we are going to move next on to news. Because guess what? It was announced that Mr. Bill Skarsgård will reprise his role as Pennywise for the It prequel series. What's everyone's thoughts on this? Because I didn't think this would ever happen. I'm wondering if it's his frustration with different like movies he's been a part of, because obviously there was the Boy Kills World fiasco where they replaced his voiceover with H. John Benjamin, but then there's also the him saying that he doesn't like that the ending of The Crow is open-ended versus solidified, where it's like this kind of stuff kind of means that maybe Skarsgård wants to go back to what really gave him a name. I'm gonna assume that's the case. That's what it seems like to me. I think his Pennywise is so good, so I'm totally down. Or killed animal. What is okay, let's see. I don't need a deep dive into why Pennywise turned evil or whatever. Let villains be villains. Yeah, that's I do agree. I do agree with that. Heat has died down. Let's see. He's great in the role. I'm all for it. He'll be a great Crow. First movie is a solid adaptation, but the second was basically a clunky Marvel movie. So seems like people are down for him to return, but not not the actual concept of the show, which honestly I kind of agree with. I don't think the concept of the show is anything special, but the fact that Barbara Muschietti and Andy Muschietti are involved, that's exciting, and yeah, it's very, very cool. But let's move on. Let's move next to a movie that came out today, and it premiered at Sundance, and it will play on Shudder later this year. In a Violent Nature. So this is a movie. I'll keep this brief because I know not many people saw it. I'll also try to avoid spoilers. I will just say that this is not a film that I thought it really worked with. It's essentially just this guy walking, and you expect it looks like it's going to be a grounded or like A24 style where it's smart. You expect it to be smart. It ends up being the dumbest movie you can imagine. Acting is terrible. So many things just don't work. Though, look at these lobby cards that they made are really cool. Like, look at wrong way. That it's so hard to point on this. There we go. And then I'll bring this.
I've been waiting my entire life.
Yeah, that's my review, which you guys can check with the QR code. I'll just have that playing that way you guys can see some footage from it. It didn't work for me. I was not a fan. I've talked to several other people that have seen it. They have the same opinion, so I don't really feel like I'm missing the boat on this one. Just didn't really work so well. So, but the good thing about this is that it inspired tonight's show, because it's like, well, if Friday the 13th is on people's minds, then let's do this. I do not know when it's coming to Shudder. I think they've just said summer, right? I could be wrong, but I'm from what I'm aware, they just said summer. So absolutely wait for streaming. I assume most of you have Shudder. Check it out there, because it doesn't work. Seeing people talk about Furiosa a little bit, I love Furio. I won't touch on it a bunch. It's just because it's obviously horror podcast, but like, or horror show, but yeah. Oh, your review made me decide to pass on it, going to watch Deer Camp 86 instead. They actually, Deer Camp 86, like they had filmmakers. They were in my neck of the woods. I almost went and saw it, but ended up being very busy. But yeah, it doesn't really work. It's really just boring. It's super boring, but I'll tell you right now, the kills are amazing. Like there is one kill in it that is as good as the Terrifier kill. Like that's how good it is. But okay, I've teased it enough. We need to get into our Friday the 13th discussion, because this is a series that means a lot to me, and based on chat, it means a lot to many of you. So we're gonna be treating this like a bit of a sounding board, and try to bring up. It's probably not gonna be completely in order, just because being in order just kind of limits things, and I definitely want to be able to pull up comments and all that stuff. So I definitely want to just do it that way. Jason Lives was filmed in my town. Lucky you. I hope you go to the filming locations. I have something to posit just to kind of get this rolling for you guys. Oh, what is your favorite Friday the 13th final girl? Or who is your favorite Friday the 13th final girl? Tried to make sure I included them all up here. You can even see Monica Keena is included, just even though she's Freddy versus Jason. I should say that as well. Freddy versus Jason, I am including in this. So that's there's technically 12 films to actually be discussing. Who do you guys think is the best? Oh, I love you guys so much already. I love it so much. Okay. Amy Steele as Jenny. Amy Steele. Oh, I love this. This is amazing. I love to see it. There's so much love for Miss Amy Steele. I agree. Corey Feldman is a great final girl. He's the best. Let's see. Dennis Joseph says Jenny Field. Shadow of the Statue says Tina. Easy. Well, Shadow of the Statue, I disagree, but that's okay. Now, notice I don't know who this person is, so I'll be nice to him. My favorite final girl is Tina Shepard. Yes, she has very cool carry abilities. Amy Steele is another word for Terry Kaiser. Sure. Oh, Terry Kaiser. Terry Kaiser, if he made it to the end, he would be my favorite final girl. Chris, I guess, because Friday 3 was the first movie I saw in theaters. Nice. Spaceman Spire. Ooh, that's actually a good one. Which of the Friday the 13th films did you see first in theaters? Because I'm a little on the younger side, so I was only able to I only saw Friday the 13th, the remake. Yeah, that's the only Friday I've seen in theaters. And they don't do re-release. They don't do all these different. I've been able to see Alien and The Exorcist, all these different films that they don't do re-releases for the Friday the 13th ones. So it just doesn't. I'm so jealous of you guys. Let's see. Justin Rigby says Jason Takes Manhattan, age 12. Beautiful. Hallowfield says saw part 4 in the drive-in. Very jealous of you guys. I should stay. I watched the whole series on DVD and on AMC at a very young age. Let's see, we've got General Admiral Thrawn, Jason Goes to Hell. Let's see. Major Blazer saw Jason Takes Manhattan. So I'm curious, Major Blazer, what was your reaction to Jason Takes Manhattan in because I've had this conversation in the past of how I think people that appreciate Jason Takes Manhattan didn't see it when it first came out, so they weren't super disappointed by it. That's my theory. Travis Huffman says, I saw Jason X in the theater. I was there by myself. As in there was no one else in the theater with you? That's probably not a great sign. We got a few Jason Goes to Hells, which I guess makes sense given the timing. Oh, so as a kid, it was great. We laughed at it. That is fantastic, because I've always been such a fan of the weird aesthetic in that movie. As a matter of fact, let's bring up Friday the 13th Part 8. Talk about this a little bit, because it's a movie everyone seems to hate, and it's kind of at the point we on Joe Blow Horror really defend this movie, and there's always people who are like, why do you love this movie so much? And every time I'm like, because it's awesome. It's so much fun. Every time I see it, it goes up more and more in my watch list. Love Jason Takes Manhattan. I think I appreciate it because it was played over and over again on USA growing up. It was a USA up all night fave. Ooh, Spaceman Spiral. Just watched it last Tuesday. Okay, so I want to. I prepared a few clips for you guys. They're mostly kills, just as nice little something. But I have something else that is one of my favorite things in any of these movies ever. So I'm gonna show you guys that now.
Would you care to dance? Good.
Beautiful. You'll notice I had to do the lead up, the build up. How much does everyone love this as much as I do? Because his ridiculous dancing. There's nothing better. Let's see. The dance. The Glover dance. He's so great. I am such a big Crispin Glover fan. And yes, he gets laid in the movie. That's the man. That's Riz right there. Isn't that what the young people say? Riz? See, I'm hip. I'm with it. Ooh, there we go. He's channeling Renata Bliss. Oh, Crispin Glover took himself way too seriously, though. I agree with you, Kelly. But, as I will always state, I don't really care about actors' personal lives. I care about what shows up on screen, and Crispin Glover on screen is just chef's kiss. Speaking of Crispin Glover, we did a what was it, a WTF on the Willard remake from 2001. Great movie, or 2003. Great film. Oh, let's see. Got to meet Crispin Glover at a convention, but in order to meet him, you had to watch this weird movie that he wrote and directed. Oh, that's great. Wonder how many weird Crispin Glover stories are out there. And again, I very much apologize if I miss your chat. There's a lot going on. Friday the 13th, you were lucky enough to see in theater, was a great time. I agree. I think that's why I hold the remake with such esteem. Like, he is just, I don't know, the remake just holds up. And also the remake is kind of I guess generation's Friday the 13th. Always love a good Hello McFly. I actually saw Friday the 13th part 4 before I saw the actual Back to the Future film. Somehow Crispin Glover is somehow even weirder in real life than he is in movies. I agree. Let's pull that up again. There we go. Okay. So, another thing that, and I think this will be a good way to go through the films, I made sure I asked the Joe Blow horror staff essentially what their favorite Friday the 13th is. So, got a whole list going, and so this is going to be a good way to both introduce you to people that are on the channel, and will hopefully some of these people will end up on this stream at some point. And yeah, we're going to be getting into this. Let's see. Another Crispin Glover thing. He doesn't take himself that seriously. He was in Hot Tub Time Machine. I agree. Oh, and we got a good Jessica Dwyer saying, one of the best experiences with an audience was when I took my husband to see Freddy vs. Jason on opening night. That would be quite the experience. Let's see. First up, we have Nikki Minter, who does she does our horror TV show series. She is a fantastic writer and narrator. Let's see. She says about the first Friday the 13th. The ending of Friday the 13th, 1980 is why it's my favorite. Just when you think Alice is safe, a grotesque Jason suddenly grabs her, seemingly sealing her fate. The final reveal that she's alive and in the hospital adds an extra layer of suspense and relief, making the ending legendary. I mean, I'm not as big of a fan. What is everyone's opinion on the first Friday the 13th? Because I've already seen someone in the chat said when they rewatch the series, that's the only one they skip, which, how dare you? You should be skipping Jason Goes to Hell. No one should ever watch that movie. But what's everyone's opinion of it nowadays? Because I know when I was back on the Joe Blow forums in like the mid 2000s, it was considered like a holy grail that I liked at the time, and then I think it gets less and less and less and just doesn't work as well. I do like the mystery element, but it just doesn't work. It doesn't work for me. Shame on you, Justin Rigby. Where's my shame? Where's my shame button? I like it for what it is. It is the one that got the ball rolling. Oh wait, that's not the right one. Where's the? Wait a minute, where is it? I missed it. Sorry, there was a Jason Goes to Hell. Shame on any Jason Goes to Hell lovers. I will. That's my opinion that I will stick to the day I die. Part 1 didn't age well. I agree. It doesn't work for me. I don't have an issue though. I should say that whenever I'm dogging a movie, it's fine if you like it. That's kind of how this goes. I like stuff. You like stuff. Sometimes it doesn't work. Doesn't meld together. Just start the movie when Pamela shows up. I think watch a highlight reel of all of the effects. Let's see, we got another one. I noticed part 1 is more and more hated with time, but I disagree. I think it rocks. Not my favorite, but it's in the top half of quality. Travis Huffman says, Jason Goes to Hell was like Joe Bob Briggs got to make his own Friday the 13th. Not my thing, but yeah. What? Truly believe Hannibal Lecter would be totally disgusted with Jason's inability to quid pro quo with him in a psychiatry session. Might not even eat him afterwards because of disgust. Well, Jason being rotting, I'm going to say, is probably going to mess with him as well. But let's move on to the next one, because this one's mine, and this might be controversial. I'm saying most underrated film in the franchise, because this is Friday the 13th Part 2. Most underrated film in the franchise, and it's one of the best slashers of all time. The characters are well developed, and Baghead Jason is an absolute maniac. And a surprisingly cozy film. Now, I understand if maybe you do not agree with this. I have always loved this movie, and my love for it has increased even further. I should state too, I recently did a deep dive. I have a podcast that I host with actually Lance Valchek, also on Joe Blow Horror, called Needlessly Nostalgic. We went through the whole Friday the 13th film franchise and spoke for 22 hours on it. So there's so much content there if you want to hear even more of a deep dive into Friday the 13th, because holy crap, we went hard. But also, I feel so qualified to talk about this because of that, because I've done quite the Friday the 13th deep dives over the years, and it's never been more fresh in my head. Yes, iconic wheelchair kill. Ooh, Vanderhoff. Part 2 is one of the best. I got to meet the cast and went to the locations before they were torn down. Lucky duck. Though I have heard, apparently, for anyone that's unaware, the casino, which is where they all go get drinks, and that's where Stu actually survives. But that casino burned down like a year after filming, which is just, it's too bad. It's really too bad. Sackboy Jason is good. I usually start with part 2 and skip part 1. Yeah, I can't argue with that. Sackman from The Strangers is a ripoff of Baghead Jason. Absolutely. I should have done during the Strangers stream. I went as Baghead, or what is it, Sackman, is that his name, from Strangers, my senior year of high school, and it was such a cool costume. Backwoods Jason is the best Jason. I'm not gonna lie, I thought I was gonna have a lot more backlash on this, so I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. The only curious aspect of part 2 is how the Woodstock from Peanuts looking guy just stays at the bar and his boozing actually saves his life. Yes, that is Stu. Stu apparently had such a bad death that they just got rid of it. They just cut it. So it's just insane. I live close enough that I was able to visit some of the part 2 filming locations. Imagine my dismay when I got there and realized all the lakefront property surrounding the lake was private. Oh, that would be brutal. Part 2 ripped off the town in the dreaded sundown. Not that I'm complaining. Yeah, most slashers have some kind of rip-off quality, so. Despite says, Part 2's counselors are also one of the most likable cast of characters out of the main films. I agree with this so much. I love this cast. This cast is amazing. Another element that I want to talk about is how horny this film is, because this is the horniest movie in the world. I'm like shocked at how horny this film can be. But we are going to do another, because I realize I should have done this. I should have done this when we were talking about the first one. But obviously, I'm a dummy and I don't think about these things always. So we're going to look at Kevin Bacon's kill from Friday the 13th, part 1. Best kill in the so good. I think that works so well. I think it is the coolest kill they do. And I think a lot of those kills kind of get cut short in that movie. I think it's why it doesn't work quite as well for me, but that's just me. So, and want to remind you guys yet again, we are giving away the Friday the 13th Steelbook. We're doing a Blu-ray giveaway. So make sure that you make sure you stay till the end of the stream. Make sure that you're really, getting that Jason knowledge up, because I've got a question that I'm going to tell you right now. It's a trick question. So I'm very, very interested in what you guys end up coming up with. So we're on Friday the 13th, part 3. This is Cody Heyman. He is our news editor, and he writes so many different things for us. Most of the horror articles that you see are from Cody. He does an awesome job, and he also does Best Horror. He does WTFs. He does so many great things, and he is such a historian. So he is into Friday the 13th, part 3D, mainly into the franchise because of Jason. So my favorite to watch is part 3. Jason slashes his way through a bunch of fun bunch of characters, I can't read, in a great location. And when he obtains his iconic hockey mask towards the end, I think it's the best he has ever looked. We then get to watch this badass Jason wearing his fresh hockey mask, pursuing the heroine through the awesome extended chase sequence. I mean, I think that pretty much sums it up. Aw, thank you so much. I really appreciate that, Final Flame Productions. Jesus Christ, that's a kill. Yes, it is. Kevin Bacon, just incredible. Let's see. Richard Brooker is the scariest Jason. Part 3 has always been my favorite. Ragnar, thank you so much for showing up. It's too bad you won't be able to participate in the giveaway, but we loved having you. We also have more people that love Friday the 13th Part 3. I did not anticipate this being such a loved film on the staff, but Andrew Hatfield, who you'll know as a narrator and writer on Joe Blow Horror, he does Black Sheep, he does Test of Time, he does WTF Adaptation. He is one of the MVPs of the channel and does so much. My favorite is Part 3. It's got an obvious gimmick that is charming, and I feel it is when Jason really becomes Jason. Pretty common thread is that this is where Jason is Jason, so people seem to really enjoy that. Absolutely adore Part 3, Brandon Mueller says. My friends and I would always love to play drinking games to it. My favorite drink being when Shelly does something idiotic or is self-deprecating. That's a really fun one. That's really fun. Oh, I should have clipped out the disco theme. Part 3 disco theme is... I have it stuck in my head right now just from you saying Part 3 disco theme, so you can't get much better than that. You're all doomed. Yeah, we didn't really talk about Crazy Ralph. If there's anything that the Friday the 13th series needs to bring back in these new films, Crazy Ralph is absolutely on the top of that list. Let's see. When Brooker walks out in that mask, agreed. It's such a sight. It's that Friday the 13th Part 3 used to be one of my favorites, so I 100% understand the love for it. But we have more love for it because longtime interviewer and critic Jimmy O chimed in. He says, I'm mainly into the franchise because of Jason, so my favorite to watch is Part 3. Jason slashes his way through a fun bunch of characters in a great location. When he obtains his iconic hockey mask towards the end, I think it's the best he has ever looked. We then get to watch this badass Jason, wearing his fresh hockey mask, pursue the heroine through an awesome extended chase sequence. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely agree. Am I dumb for loving Jason X and Freddy vs. Jason? Reminds me of my childhood. Absolutely not. You are not dumb. Why would you ever say that? That is just what people like, what they like. I like both of those movies. Jason X, it'll show up on this list in a bit. We will discuss it. Jason X has some very, very fun moments, which that's perfect segue into the greatest kill in Jason X. I love his complete dismissal. Just the disrespect that he has. It's so good. That cracks me up way more than it should every time I see it. Next up, we've got the Arrow himself chiming in with lots of sex, awesome gore, courtesy of the great Tom Savini, an affable cast, and a scary Jason. It's the quintessential Friday the 13th flick, in my opinion. That is, of course, Friday the 13th for the final chapter. Though, actually not part 4. It's just the final chapter. No part 4, so very, very strange, but... Oh, we have a newbie! I'm working my way through the series right now. Jason X was tonight. It's a lot better than a 10th entry in space deserves to be. So much fun. That is very, very fun. Is it, wait, first time going through it or just... Oh, let's see. Fallon is correct. 4 is fantastic. I agree. It cracks me up. Was that a pun? No, but you can consider it a pun now. Apparently, I just do puns without even realizing it. Hallowfield says 4 is so good, which it is. It's the best. So I picked part 2 because I didn't want to pick something that everyone was going to be picking, and I was really concerned that 4 and 6 would just be picked by everyone. So I was like, I'll pick something off the beaten path. I love 4 so much. I pretty much alternate between 2, 4, and 6 as my favorites. So Daniel Garcia, 4 rules. Justin Rigby says 4 turned the volume up on all the things that made the series great. Absolutely. We got great nudity, great characters, great dialogue. Jason has one of his best looks ever, some of the coolest kills. Like, it is just, I don't know, the best. Let's see. Tyler, will you be doing a 90s horror memories? I was bummed out when you concluded the 80s one. Keep up the great work, brother. Oh, and 2 and 4 for me. I do not believe there are plans for a 90s memory series as of yet, but stay tuned. I mean, guys can watch those 80s horror memories and get those views up, and might spur something on. Who knows? Best kills. Let's see, 4, 6, and 2 for me as well. So I feel like we've gotten pretty much everyone's favorites in. What about favorite kills? Favorite kills from the franchise. While we're doing that, we'll move on to the next thing. We got Mike Conway. Mike, he does horror party movies, and he's an editor. That's the main. He's like one of our video editors. So he says, I was first introduced to Friday the 13th with the final chapter when I was 5 years old. Although I tend to flip-flop between that and Jason Lives. The final chapter ends up winning with better characters, kills, and Crispin Glover hamming up every scene. I'm seeing a lot of kills that I agree with. A lot of kills that I agree with. We're gonna wait a second till we show another one of them. Space them out a little more. Plus, we'll finish. I just wanted to start getting those kills circulating. So yeah, we're skipping over Jason Lives. No one picked Jason Lives, so we'll talk about Jason Lives, don't worry, but this is just from what the Joe Blow horror staff picked. So Lance Velchek, he says, which Lance he runs Joe Blow Horror Originals, he's just absolutely fantastic at his job, and I cannot say enough good things about this man because he's my podcast partner. So if you want to listen to he and I talk, check out that podcast. We get Tina, an intense telekinetic who goes toe-to-toe against Jason. It's Kane Hodder's debut performance. Also included is a legendary businessman, Bernie Lomax, as the true villain, with subspecies Nick Spiritus as Tina's gay new friend. It's amazing. Yes, I completely agree. Like, the Nick Spiritus Tina's gay friend is my favorite aspect of that. I'm not a massive fan of part 7, but I have a lot of fun with it. I think most people do. It just has its moments. But we have one more staff member to go over. I asked the editor-in-chief himself, Mr. Chris Bombre, says that the franchise is one of his blind spots, but he found Jason X with its self-parroting vibe kind of fun. So there is some Jason X love. Don't worry. People still love them some Jason X. And I saw this kill get mentioned. So let's show it.
Dan, what are you doing?
The struggle. This is the best part. All in one. Boom. Just incredible. And I mean, I assume most people are aware of the fact that he did not what like the original plan was not to do that many, not to just do one. They did multiple, and then the one ended up working out so much better. So let's look and see, because I see you guys got some good deaths. So let's bring some up. Hey Ted, where the hell's the corkscrew? Yes, I actually, for the longest time, I did not know that it was a corkscrew that went into Crispin Glover's hand. I don't know if I should say this because it makes me look like a fucking moron. But I remember those things. They're usually in like a industrial kitchen where it's like a can opener that's like attached to the table. That's what I thought it was for so long. And when I came to the realization, like, oh no shit, he says corkscrew right then. Duh, it's a corkscrew. Shows what a dummy I am sometimes. Let's see. Part 7, Jason has the best look. I'm glad they included all of his previous damage. I agree. We will get into his best looks in a bit. Ooh, this is something I actually do want to discuss. This is non-Friday the 13th related, but I want to make sure I still answer these because it is still channel related. Were you ever covered Darkness 2002 with Anna Paquin? Super underrated early 2000s flick. Yes, Darkness is going to be on the channel this summer. Absolutely. So let's see. Remember seeing this in the theater. Everyone cheered when he slammed the sleeping bag against the tree. I'm so jealous. All of you people getting to see this in theaters. That's incredible. The paintball triple head chop. When I'm curious as to when people are picking, especially for favorite kill, are you doing it in terms of what it was originally supposed to be, or like what we actually get in the film? Because I feel like there is some very good, very, very good deaths that get cut in part 7 that could have been this whole list. I mean, Bernie Lomax getting murdered with the craziest saw blade in existence. Oh, it's amazing. McBrew says, I've never quite understood the hate with Friday the 13th Remake versus Nightmare and 07 Halloween. Could you imagine if they kept the pacing and intensity of the initial intro of the Friday the 13th Remake? I agree. Let's bring up the Friday the 13th. Apparently I didn't do that. Never mind. I'm not going to bring that up. The one thing that I don't have is the Friday the 13th Remake for some reason. Apparently that one just didn't work out. So the Friday the 13th Remake, I think it's so underrated, and agreed. It works out, and it's one of those films that just, I don't know, it hits. Let's get crass with it. It's the best sex scene in existence. I love that scene so much. Like, I saw that at 18 and was like, oh my god, Juliana Gill. Oh my god. Yes, totally underrated. Justin Higby says, watch your tone on 7, sir. I will not. Sheriff in part 2, claw hammer to the back of the head. I have always loved that. You can practically feel it. It's so good. I'm so glad someone brought that one up. Friday the 13th Remake was like the Dawson's Creek meets Crystal Lake. I agree with that. I am curious too. Has anyone played? I'll drop chat. Has anyone played the Friday the 13th games? I guess I could have also included the NES one as well. There is a very cool board game, which you can see right here, and then the video game is right here, which technically they discontinued this. They took it off. They delisted it. So, but it's great. If you can get a copy, or if you have even if you're not a gamer, the ability to be able to walk through these maps is, it's one of the greatest joys I've ever had. It is just the best. You can then, because they recreated things to such a degree that it's just incredible. I owned on F13 for PlayStation 4. Played the PS4 game for years. That's what I like to hear. Has anyone played this, the board game? I've always seen it, but I mean, let's be real. I don't ever have enough people around. All my friends are online and like all over the place. Doing board games would be impossible. But I've always heard the game is super fun. Ooh, we have some board game player. I bought the board game and never played it. But there is a knockoff one called Last Friday that is an awesome board game. Yes, I've heard. I keep seeing Last Friday get brought up. It's now I need to check that out. No. Looks like, yeah, a lot of people have not played them. John Fallon says that I own the board game. Lots of fun. And yeah, I had it on Nintendo. I can still hear the music in my head, rent free. I love Jason's purple jumpsuit and like teal skin. It is so ridiculous. And yes, the object of the game is to find what cabin Jason is in. Now, for anyone that's not aware, of the whole Jason universe that got announced, it includes video games, which we just saw. Like, he's included in that Multiversus game, which is kind of like a Super Smash Bros. Kind of clone, which that's not for me. However, it sounds like they're working with either Ilphonic or Gun Media, who worked on this Friday the 13th game that's right here. It sounds like they're essentially doing a full version because unfortunately it got destroyed because of rights issues. So yeah, front cover of the NES game was badass. Agreed. Oh, there we go. Santiago family. Sorry to go off topic, but when do John and Lance come back with their show? I believe so. I don't think it's going to be the same format as before, but they are doing something that it might be like a monthly watch thing that then is edited, and there will be more news about that eventually. What am I saying? It'll end up dropping and then you guys will see it. I unfortunately do not have more information on that, but they are coming back. So I know, I mean, I get comments on my personal YouTube channel about Arrow in the Head Show and Modern Horror Movie Talk. So very much appreciate how much you guys love those, and it means a lot. So it's very cool. Oh, there we go. John says we're shooting next week. So there you go. You heard it here first. Oh, that's very sweet. Can't wait. Love the Arrow in the Head Show. I miss it every week. As do I. Yes, and all the community mods got destroyed to try and revive the game. Yeah, they pretty much ruined it. It was in a very good state. Like, was it like a year ago or 2 years ago? And they just, dropped the ball completely, which is just insane. So dumb. Okay, let's see. What other... We haven't even really talked about... Let's talk about part 6. Or no, let's talk about part 5. We haven't talked about part 5. I feel like this one just gets unfairly shit on. And I should state right now, we're going past 9 o'clock. Like, there's just too much content. I hope you guys don't mind. But yeah, I think that this movie was unfairly shit on for so long just because it doesn't have Jason. But, does that really matter? Like, does it? Like, it's still a Friday the 13th. For all intents and purposes, he acts like Jason. It's not like Jason Goes to Hell where I'm seeing like cops and lawyers killing people. Like, I don't know. I think part 5 is extremely underrated. I love this. Hot take, I'd rather watch part 5 over the original any day. I could not agree more, Casey Adventures. I'm in your exact same boat. There was a time where I realized that part 5 is just a remake of the first film in terms of how it's shot. So it's like, that's what I want. So many more kills too. Isn't it most kills in the franchise? New Beginning got the Halloween 3 treatment. Both aged well. Agreed. Hallifield says, I actually love part 5. It's the M. Night Shyamalan of the series. How dare you, M. Night? Nobody likes a bait and switch. I love a bait and switch. If there's one thing you guys are going to learn about me, if you haven't already, I love whodunits. Whodunits are my thing. So that's why I have an appreciation for the first film always. Part 5 is 1,000,000 times better than Part 1. I'm loving this. I think I said it 2 weeks ago, but chat, you guys are my people. This is fantastic. I love it. But let's talk about Part 6, because Part 6 is, I mean, everyone loves Part 6 for good reason. It is one of the best in the entire franchise, while still parodying the stereotypes of the Friday the 13th franchise, which is so extremely difficult to do. Yes, meta Jason. What's with all this shitting on Part 1? It's not bad. I agree, it's not bad. I just think compared to all the other ones, it just doesn't hold up as well. I think that once you get into the Friday the 13th film franchise, I think that it's just, you end up moving past the first film. So then once you compare it to all the other ones, I think it just doesn't work as well. But just my opinion though on it. Part 6 is an absolute fave, says Zombie JLT1. The soundtrack alone. Yes, Alice Cooper, Man Behind the Mask. Oh, it's so good. I love that ridiculous hair metal. Part 6 is my favorite of the franchise. Casper Frost says, wherever the red dot goes, you bang. I say that. I say that way more than I should, because I don't own a gun. I don't own laser sighting, but that line always cracks me up. Hollowfield says, 6 is so fun and self-aware. Zombie Jason, great soundtrack. Travolta's nephew. Travolta's nephew? Which one's Travolta's nephew? Jason Lives felt like he became a universal monster, and it worked 1,000%. Yes, it is shot like a Universal monster movie or a Hammer film. I don't know if anyone's ever done this, but if you haven't, I highly recommend watch Jason Lives in black and white. It is such a different experience, and it's shot for black and white. It looks like an old Hammer film. It's so cool. Of course, you like hair. You like the hair metal. It's the shadow of the statue. Of course I like the hair metal. The hair metal is amazing. All hair metal. That's why I love the 80s. Come on. Hair metal's great. Thank you both Daniel Garcia and Spaceman Spiral and Hollowfield for letting me know that Court is the nephew. Good to know. This is something I noticed in my last viewing. I like Part 6, but I don't like the look of Jason in it, says Stuntman Mark. Yellow gardening gloves? Thumbs down. Yeah, I mean, it's the yellow gardening gloves it's a unique look, that's for sure. But I don't know, there's something about the like mold, mossy, I want to say mossy gray that's all over his getup. It just looks great. Face through the side of the camper is one of the best, although most unrealistic kills. Yes, I do agree. But when I want to talk about unrealistic kills, this is the final kill I have for you guys, and it is the most violent, absolutely most violent. So I had to do a little censoring because there's boobs in this, and I don't know how YouTube's always weird about that stuff. So let's look at this. Terrible movie, but such a good moment. Such a good moment. I don't know. Love it. Okay, let's see what else we gotta talk about. Jason Goes to Hell. This has been brought up in chat a couple times. Let's see what you guys think about Jason Goes to Hell. Best kill in the series. I would agree, it's one of the best kills of the series. It's I mean, putting it at #1 is totally acceptable. I think that's kind of why I picked the kills that I did. I would consider them all timers. That movie went to hell. Yeah. Yeah, this is one of my favorite stories. They were a real couple during the time and they just broke up and it was hard to film that scene. Yeah, they had broken up like 2 weeks prior. JD4 says, Goes to Hell was trash, but Duke was a beast. Yeah. No comment. I can't say this. So let's put it on screen real fast. Oh boy, that kill is the only moment for me. It's the only... Me seeing that right then is going to be the only time I see that for ages. I won't be watching that movie anytime soon. More people liking Creighton Duke. I'm not as big of a fan of Creighton Duke. I think he doesn't do anything. If he actually did something, I'd be more impressed, but he's mostly just a weirdo. But I hate Jason Goes to Hell so much. Jason Goes to Hell belongs in hell, but I love Erin Gray, aka Kate Summers from Silver Spoons. That's another aspect. There's so many TV actors in these Friday the 13th. So many. Jason Goes to Hell does give us Freddy vs. Jason teaser, though, so there's that. Yes, it does have that moment, which is very, very cool. Duke is the man. He does nothing and it's cool as fuck. I just wanted to acknowledge that he does nothing. And yes, he's able to break fingers that magically heal seconds later. I hated that. People keep mentioning The Hidden. I have not seen The Hidden. It's like Friday the 13th meets The Hidden, and 7-year-old me was all about that combination, says Brandon Mueller. I would rather a movie fail spectacularly than be forgettable, and damn it, Goes to Hell is anything but forgettable. Yeah, that is true. I've tried to wipe that movie from my brain for the last decade. It just doesn't work. Jason Goes to Hell is fun. Can't go wrong with 25 kills. Also cool to see the Necronomicon in a movie. Conversely, Ugh, the Magic Dagger was cringe. So, a lot of different opinions on this. I hated it until I saw an interview that explained how Cunningham ruined the film and the director did what he could to make it work. Still my lowest of the series. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because if people are not aware, Sean Cunningham really fucks over this series as much as he can. Not my thing. I do not like that man. John Fallon says, you've never seen The Hidden? For shame, Big T. I guess I need to see it then. I'll watch it. It's on my list with Puppet Master 2 and 3, which I'm just waiting for my set to arrive and then I'll watch those. The Hidden is one of the best 80s movies. See? This is great. Now I have more stuff to watch. I can never dislike having even more things to watch. This is the first Jason movie I saw in theaters. I was 11. It was disappointing to say the least. Yeah, that's understandable. Understandable. I can't say that I am a big fan of that one. So, I also wanted to bring up too, if I can figure out where it's at. There we go. Crystal Lake Memories. Because Crystal Lake Memories is like... people keep bringing up various behind the scenes things about this franchise, and so much of it comes from the Friday the 13th like Crystal Lake Memories, which if you haven't seen I should have brought it up. I have the book as well. It's incredible. God, people are loving The Hidden. It's getting watched. It's getting watched. Absolutely, it is getting watched. Eric Vital says, fantastic book and documentary. It's so good. Terrific book and documentary. Oh, Great book. I've read it cover to cover. Brad Perkins. I have as well. There's so much amazing information in there. I remember pretty much any time I have to do anything on Friday the 13th, it's like I look at that book or watch the documentary. I had Crystal Lake Memories on all day while I prepped stuff for the stream. So it's like Crystal Lake Memories is it's such a good watch. And it's like, what, 4.5 hours long? I want all documentaries that long. Amazing. Oh, we still got some people talking. Oh, we got the body hopping element was cool from Jason Goes to Hell, but that was about it. Still more Hidden talk. Yes, The Hidden is a great film. Sequel's meh, but at least have the first one with Kyle MacLachlan. Kyle MacLachlan or Kyle McLaughlin? Kyle MacLachlan, right? That's me genuinely not remembering. But you guys have sold it. I will absolutely watch The Hidden. Absolutely. To Hell and Back, the Kane Hodder story is also a fantastic documentary. Yes, what Kane went through is absolutely like unreal to hear, and the fact that he still did fire stunts and like that Friday Part 7 fire stunt after having that stunt go so wrong. I mean, it's amazing. And I've also heard he is one of the nicest people in all of horror. So you love to see that kind of thing, because I don't know, it's just nice when good guys are having success. Let me look and see. I don't have, for some reason they didn't upload, but Freddy vs. Jason. I want to talk about Freddy vs. Jason for a bit. Freddy vs. Jason is a film that I think is more Elm Street than Friday the 13th, but it still works pretty well. Like, Jason is kind of off, and they add this weird afraid of water angle, and we got more. I have to bring this up. I have His Name is Jason on DVD. Need to pull out and watch it again. Watched Memories a few weeks back. His Name is Jason is also very, very well done. Though I will say, any other Friday the 13th documentary pales in comparison to Crystal Lake Memories, just because it is the definitive. Like, they just go into so much detail. There's not much fluff there. Justin Rigby says the water thing didn't make sense. I agree. Made no sense. And it's true, but I didn't buy the afraid of water thing. Monica Keena should have gone places in horror. I thought she was going to. I really did. She was on like Entourage shortly after Freddy vs. Jason, and I thought she was going to end up doing more. Didn't work out. The dialogue with the kids is unintendedly hilarious, says Jim. Agreed. Major Blazer says body double nudity sucks. I believe he's talking about Catherine Isabel's body double in that shower scene, which, yeah, finding out that wasn't Ginger from Ginger Snaps, I was like, why not? What is with this body with these like bolted on tits too? It's like, that's clearly not what she looks like. Very strange choice on their part. Yes, Never Sleep Again doc was great as well. I completely agree. And also, I think the point that should also be brought up too about both Never Sleep Again and the Crystal Lake Memories doc is that we're never going to get a more definitive documentary on Friday the 13th. And that's because there's no way, like, a lot of those people have died. We have lost so many. It's really sucks. Like, we've lost a crap ton. So I mean, there's not as much to pull from for any kind of documentary. Same with a Nightmare on Elm Street one. There's not much to pull from. Like, Wes Craven has passed. Like, there's a ton of those people that have passed. So it sucks, but we're never gonna get that, and that's why that same group needs to do a Halloween one before it's too late. If we don't get that, then like John Carpenter's gonna be dead if he even agrees to do it. But if you don't get John Carpenter, what's even the point, really? Like, okay. Let's see. Let's go over. Well, let's see. Let's look at chat for a bit. See what you guys are saying. Kane Hodder will always be my Jason Voorhees, like Robert Englund will always be Freddy. Yep, let's go over this now. This is kind of a two-part question. So, what do you guys think the best Jason look is, and who do you think the best Jason is? Because I think a lot of people are going to be saying Kane Hodder, which I absolutely agree. He's absolutely incredible, but there's other performances that I really love. C.J. Graham, Richard Brooker. There's a lot more than just breathing and turning a head. So even Derek Mears is such a good Jason. But let's see what people are saying in terms of the look. CJ Graham, best looking. I'm gonna assume that doesn't just mean the actor himself. Best Jason is Kane. Best look is part 7. I have a feeling that's gonna be a pretty common one. Seen a violent nature. Look 7, portrayal, Ted White. Yeah, Ted White. I like Ted White as well. I mean, I'm always going to. Ted White was really good too, says McBrew. I'm gonna agree with that. There's always the amazing story about how Ted White told director Joseph Zito to fuck off because he was trying to keep filming that poor girl in the lake. So that alone, I always like him for that. Shadow Statue says, look, part 7, performance, part 8. Yeah, his performance in part 8 is so underrated. So underrated. Best look, part 6. Oh, not that. So hard to keep up. Part 7 is a little too bony to be that strong, but looks great. Ted White is my favorite. Hallowfield. Yes, thank you. Judy Aronson was her name. Yes, Judy Aronson tells a fantastic story about that. Friday the 13th reboot slept on. I think that both Derek Mears and the look is just amazing. However, the one thing about the remake / reboot that I will knock points off for, it doesn't have the notch. You need the notch. If it doesn't have the notch, it's not. Nope. The only one that's not allowed to have the notch, or allowed to not have the notch, is part 3, because he doesn't have the notch. Otherwise, the notch needs to be there. Kane jumping through the window in 7, so Spaceman Spiral. Yeah, so good. And him falling through the stairs. And like his head just barely, it comes so close to hitting. Oh, it's so good. 09 Jason looked too human. I think that was kind of the point, is that he's human versus the more zombie Jason, which also, that's another question. Zombie Jason or hillbilly backwoods Jason? Enjoyed the reboot, but I could see how they tried to cram all the first 3 to 4 films into one, and it's still better than the Nightmare remake. I agree. I hate the Nightmare remake so much. So much. When we do the Nightmare franchise on this, I'm gonna be very angry about Jackie Earle Haley's performance, which we'll also have some behind the scenes stuff to talk about with that, because he does not like Nightmare on Elm Street. 7 was hilarious, him catching couches and planters. So Lance brought this up to me. Did you notice that when Tina telekinetically throws the planter, there's a head in it? It's the guy's head that gets decapitated just before. Oh. Let's see. Hillbilly Jason, no thanks. I like Hillbilly Jason. I love all Friday the 13th minus Jason Goes to Hell. So I'm gonna always say like yes, that's great. Remake should get some points for essentially being 2 Friday the 13th movies in one before the title card. Yes, agreed. Then that first group is so good. I love that. That movie is just amazing. Jason with the cybernetic enhancements. Jason X, not really. Well, not really. Richard Brooker is the OG Jason. He does a very good job. That's all I will say. Zombie Jason. I like my Jason to be indestructible. Yeah. I assume this is referring to Jason. Great nudity. No, I'm kidding. That was clearly the remake. Jason was actually very terrifying when we didn't know a lot about him. Yeah. I don't really mind as long as, I mean, Jason's one of those characters where I don't care if they reveal stuff about his childhood, but like, I don't need to see it. You can talk about it, but like, I don't need to see him growing up and that nonsense. Like, yeah, don't need to. CJ Graham, man. Agreed. Too much American Pie Jason after. Oh, okay. Well, let's I mean, we pretty much have talked about all of them, really. So we're getting to the end. Let's do some plugs before we get into some other stuff. This last week, I already said earlier, definitely make sure you check out the Deconstructing Leprechaun in the Hood. It is genuinely one of the best videos we have on the channel. Kieran did an awesome job. It was his first time with the series. I assigned it to him because I was like, I want to see what your opinion is on this, and he knocked it out of the park. It's so well done. And then I myself did did something on Memorial Day, which no one watches anything on Memorial Day, so make sure to catch up on this. Check it out yourself. I am so proud of this video. I did weeks of research on it by watching that fantastic Neon 4K set, and it was very gratifying. And I also did a bunch of like different editing tricks on it, so I think you guys will get a kick out of that. And then this upcoming week, we are diving into, let's get that off. We're getting into the Scary Movie series, because the first Scary Movie is just a Scream parody, and I Know What You Did Last Summer to a lesser extent. So we're going to get into that. I've already actually scripted the video, and I was shocked at some of the stuff that is like parodied in that to such a degree. If you like, you could pretty much compare those scripts, and it's almost scene for scene, which is just insane. But yeah, we're going to be touching on that. I think you guys will be pretty pumped for it, because people have mentioned the Scary Movie franchise in the comments in the past, so we're finally doing it. I'm pumped for it. Let's see what else we got. I think we're at giveaway time. You guys think we're at giveaway time? I definitely think we're at giveaway time. Ooh. Before a giveaway time, what's everyone think of my profile pic? I did the mask myself, have the same buck knife from the movie poster. You can only see it a little bit, but that looks fantastic. Holy crap. How many scary movies are there? There are 5? 4? 5? I don't know. First 3 will likely only be covered, because those are really the only ones that are horror, like parodies of horror. The 4th one goes into like War of the Worlds, so not going to be covering. Let's see. So much. Oh, wow. Matthew Duvall says, I have a cameo in Scary Movie 1. I'm the dude in the pic with the micro D. Oh, you got a great scene, dude. R-rated or bust. Which, yes, the whole reason that the Scary Movie franchise is kind of back in the pop culture lexicon is because of the new movie. So we shall see. But it's giveaway time. So let's get into our giveaway question. Is everyone Is everyone ready for this? Now, I'm going to say right now, it's a trick question. It is a trick question, and most of this is based off of the Crystal Lake memories. So, just saying. How many actors have portrayed Jason Voorhees throughout the history of the franchise? Yes, this includes like like Freddy versus Jason. This does not include the Never Hike Alone, anything like that. Nothing in any way like that. Uh-oh. Got a lot of guesses, Oh, and I see the person that got it. So, before I bring their lovely comment up, I'm gonna make sure to prove it to you guys, so you guys don't think I'm pulling one over on you. So we've got Ari Lehman in part 1, Steve Dash in part 2, Warrington Gillette part 2. Yes, there were 2 Jasons in part 2. Richard Brooker part 3, Ted White part 4, Tom Morga part 5, CJ Graham part 6, Kane Hodder part 7, 8, 9, and 10. Ken Kersinger in Freddy vs. Jason, and Derek Mears in Friday the 13th Remake, which means that is correct. There are 10. So, our winner is Mr. Kenman Dan Kenman. So, the person that had the awesome Friday the 13th thumbnail or profile picture is our winner. So, you just need to make sure that you email me at tylernichols@joeblow.com, and we're gonna get that sent over to you. Yes, congratulations, Dan. Let's see. 2 actors play Jason in part 6. Yes, there were, but he does not get credit, so he is not being used in this. Just the people who are credited. Because technically we can go, Ken Kersinger played him as a stuntman in Jason Goes or in Takes Manhattan. So we're not doing all of that. And then, so make sure, again, tylernichols@joeblow.com, and make sure, let's see, I'll bring him up yet again, Dan Kenman. So again, congratulations, Dan. You are getting, let me pull that up. You are getting this awesome Steelbook, which is so cool. It has the first 8 Friday the 13th films in it. And I don't know. I think that this Steelbook is pretty much the quintessential way to get someone into the series. So if you own it yourself, make sure you give it to someone that hasn't seen it and get it. Sorry, I'm trying to catch it. There's so much going on, guys. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining this stream. This has been an absolute blast. And yes, Jarmello, they did fire him. The other guy was not fired. The part 2 people they work concurrently. So yes, you were so close, and yes, I knew that there was going to be a little controversy because technically there's so many different things that can you can choose. It's technically this person did. Yeah, so appreciate you guys not going too crazy in the comments. I appreciate it, Tyler. You do a great job in your videos. I enjoy them. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And I do not have the a title card for it, but I have a question for you guys, and that is, who would you guys consider, and this is something that I want you guys to answer when we come back in 2 weeks, because this is just something that I'm really interested in, because I have my own, Mount Rushmore, but I want to know, who is your Mount Rushmore of final girls? So that would mean four final girls that you think are the quintessential final girl. They give all the qualities that you love in a final girl. They essentially exemplify what it means to be a final girl. So let me know what you guys think. We'll get into that in the next episode. Let me look and see if there's anything else we need to do. I think we did everything. So again, congratulations to Dan Kenman. Very, very cool. And yeah, I want you guys to, I'm very excited to see, because I want you guys, I mean, obviously we got the Laurie Strodes and, you know, the Nancys, and, you know, we have like Kirsty. There's a lot of good ones, but I want to know if there's going to be some other interesting thing, like, because I feel like there's going to be people that come up with something where I'm like, I didn't even think of that. They are such a perfect final girl. And there you're asking Travis Huffman, when is the next meetup? Every 2 weeks here on the channel. Till that changes, I mean, I will let you guys know if that changes, but like 2 weeks from now, we'll be back here. I have no idea what the topic's going to be. You guys can let me know. Wait. Yes, Brendan Mueller says, Tyler, don't forget your homework this week. We expect a full report on the hidden. Yes. You guys, that is one thing I can guarantee you. In 2 weeks, you guys will get a full report on the hidden. We will do a little mini discussion on it. But should be a fun time. Let me know what you guys thought. Burp. Let me know what you guys thought of this franchise chat. What you guys would like to see in the future. If there's anything else like that you would like to, essentially, if there's different format, if you want to see more fun kills, more fun moments from the movies, just again, let us know. If you have any kind of feedback like that, where you're like, I want this thing should go, just email Tyler Nichols at joblo.com and we'll see if we can make it happen. But thank you guys so much for joining the stream. This has been such an absolute blast. Yeah, this is becoming one of the highlights of my week. So thank you guys so much. And yeah, hope that you guys have a wonderful weekend, because you're probably not seeing In a Violent Nature. So you probably will have a good weekend. I need to stop bashing that movie. Just not for me. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining. We will see you in 2 weeks. Make sure you check out the Joe Blow original stream next Friday with Kier Gomes. And yeah, thank you guys again for showing up. And this has been an absolute blast.